Hello friends, welcome to this session. And as discussed in our previous session, our objective for this session is to draw a triangle. So let us start its development. I hope that you have already have the solution for this. If still not, let us discuss its solution. So first of all, we are importing a turtle module. Then we are creating a object for turtle class. This is our class name. So the syntax is object name is tortoise, and we are creating an instance for this object by invoking module name dot class name. So let's first have the base of this triangle, and in order to draw the base for this triangle we can use forward, and let's suppose forward 100 is. Let us execute these lines of code to see its output. So you know that now we have a base. As discussed, now we wish to have a triangle which move in this side. And if you observe closely, we wish to have a equilateral triangle, a triangle in which all the sides are equal. So a triangle which have all the side equal, then we have to think about the angle. So the each angle of the triangle will be 180 divided by 3, which is 60 degree. So the internal angle of equilateral triangle is 60 degree. It means that at this point we wish to have 60 degree, and this time I wish to move towards downward. So here we wish to draw this line by moving in this direction. So this is my base. I have to move here. So can you think what is the direction of movement? So we have to move from this to this side. So this time it is clockwise movement, and if you have clockwise movement you have to use right angle, and then we need to check what is the angle. So here you know the internal angle is 60, but we have to draw outer because we are here and we have to move at this point. So this is the distance we wish to travel from this base 0 to this. So that will be 180 minus 60, which is equal to 120. So I think you got my point. So we have to move right 120 in order to have desirable position for my turtle object. So let's use this to see the output. So here I will be using tortoise dot right 120. Let us execute these statements to see its output. So here this is my output. So we have turtle in desirable position, and since this is an equilateral triangle, so I can move 100 in this direction. So let's move forward 100, re-execute these statements to see its output at this point. So yes, we have moved from this to this. Now I hope you can complete the remaining part on your own. So we are moving in this direction, but we have to follow here. So we have to move from this base to this, means this is the path which we have to follow. This is again clockwise, and this is right, and we know that internal angle is 60. So the outer angle will be 180 minus 60, that is again 120, and this should be right 120. So let's copy this, right 120, paste it here, execute these lines of code. So yes, so we have now turtle in the desirable position. It has changed its orientation. So if we draw forward line here, it will touch back. So we know that this is equilateral triangle, all the sides are equal. So let's move 100 again. Yes, so this is our output. We have now triangle. We wish to have turtle at the same position from where we started. So we can, at this we are moving in this direction. In order to have original position we need here, which is right 120. So let's copy right 120 again, and now I am going to run this again by refreshing my kernel. Yes, so this is the equilateral triangle which we have, in which all the sides are equal with internal angles are 60 degree. Fine. So if you look closely, we can further improve this code by using for loop. So you can pause this video at this point, and I request everyone to improve this code by using for loop. Otherwise you can keep on watching this. So I'm doing this for counter in range. Let's look closely. These two statements are exactly same, which are repeated 3 times. So we wish to have our counter with range 0 to 3. So it will have 0, 1, 2. We only require these two statements, so let's remove others. We have to tab this, and you know that 4 line of codes which are used for smooth termination. Run this again. Yeah, now we have triangle with improved code. Now can you extend this with function? I hope you can do this. Pause the video at this point and also pass appropriate parameter to this function. So let's do this. Define angle. I can specify the side, and this is the body of my code. I need to tab this. This is the side, so instead of 100 I should move this side. I can call this from 0 level triangle, so I have to pass the value of side. So let's suppose the value of side is 200. So this time I wish to have a triangle with each side 200. This 200 will pass here, and this will use to control the movement forward. Let us execute this code again to see its output. So you can see this time we are having a triangle of length 200. You can close this, run this again with length 400, select this code and rerun this, and this time we have a triangle with length 400. So this triangle is drawing in the downward side because we are using right angle this time. So forward 400, then we are moving right 120, then forward, then right 120, then forward, and then finally right 120. So this is the code for triangle with parameter. The code discussed in this video session is given in the description of this video. You can directly try this code, but I recommend you to type this on your own. So at this point I wish to discuss one more aspect regarding the functions. So it is recommended that function should use only local variables. It should not use any global variable. If we observe closely about this triangle function, it is using two variables. One is side, which is defined here as a local variable, no problem. But it is also using a variable object tortoise, which is declared at level 0. Mean that tortoise is a global variable which we are accessing inside the function. And it is recommended that function should only use local variables. So instead of using tortoise as an object, we can also use this as a parameter. So we can create another parameter as maybe local tortoise. We can create another parameter with name local tortoise, which is used to refer tortoise object. So instead of using tortoise, I will be using a variable name local tortoise, which is a parameter. So it means that when I have to call function triangle, I have to pass two parameters. One is my turtle object and second is the side. So at present I am only passing side, but I also have to pass my turtle object. So what is the turtle object for? So turtle object is tortoise, which is defined at level 0. So I have to pass this. So the code now look like this. So here we are defining a tortoise which at level 0 means this is a global variable, and then I am passing this as a parameter. So this tortoise is turtle object, and then I am passing the side for this triangle. This turtle object is defined here as a parameter with name local underscore tortoise. So it means that here in triangle I am referring this as a turtle object, and I am using its function forward and right, and in forward I am using side. So if you observe closely about this triangle function now, it only use local variables. One, it is using side, and another it is using local underscore tortoise, which is also a parameter. We are using two variables which are its parameter. So the scope of the variables which are used by function triangle is local. So this is recommended that function should use only local variables. Earlier we were using this code, and in this case tortoise was declared here at level 0. So this was a global variable. Any variable which is declared at level 0 is global variable, because this is declared outside the function, and function is accessing this global variable. So in order to avoid the accessing of global variable in my functions, I have to create this as a parameter. So I named this as local tortoise, and then I'm using this in my code. When I'm calling this function, so I am passing this as a parameter, which is a total object tortoise, and then I am passing the side. So this is the code with improved version of triangle function, where in function I am only accessing local variables. Let us run this. Yeah, this is the same code which is running perfectly fine, but this time triangle is only accessing local variables and it is not accessing any global variables. So with this we wind up our discussion on trying various objects with turtle, and in next session we will discuss more on functions. Actually, functions can return a value, so we will be discussing in next session how a function can return a value. So to learn more on function, please watch next video session. Thanks for watching this video.